Welcome to Unclogged Conversations, powered by Larry Stinson Plumbing. Today, we got a special guest, John Hill with Good Contractors List. It's been a long road.
And they called, and we got involved. We always get involved. We want to make sure our contractors are doing what they're supposed to. It doesn't do us well to have a bad contractor on our list. So we take everything super seriously. Our staff, Jessica and Nydia, they are both, they'll call back homeowners. We call back every homeowner that calls through our website. So we're following up and we're looking to see how our contractors are being with homeowners.
Yeah,
we've kicked people off of our list for being talking down to people. They had consistently talk down to people when they explain things. And we started seeing
a interesting road. John came to me in 2011 when I was in Crowley and said, "You need to be on the Good Contractors List." I said, "John, I don't have the money for Good Contractors List. I'm a little bitty shop." He said, "You can do it. It's going to help you." So I put him off. I said, "No, John, I can't do that." I said, "Come back to me when I grow." And he was persistent. Came back a couple more times. And then 2019, we were growing. You remember 2019?
Well, I remember 2019.
We didn't know what was coming in 2020.
Yep.
But we joined the Good Contractors List in 2019. And ever since then, we've enjoyed it. We've actually grown. We've added other zip codes.
Yeah.
And
quite a bit. Welcome
to the show, John.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about the start of the Good Contractors List.
Well, it's funny. I'm an old Yellow Page guy. I used to sell Yellow Page ads, and I used to go out and I'd meet with contractors, and we had a lot of contractors in those Yellow Page ads, and I started going out and meeting with some of the ones that had some of the bigger pages, and they'd hand me these accounts, and I'd go out and I would like, there's no way I would even send these people to any family members home. These guys are awful. I could hear some of them talking and how they were even some places I went, they were having training sessions and they were bragging on how they were taking advantage of people. Yeah. Like, how did they upsell that little old lady? And I was outside. They didn't know I was even there because I was waiting to be, talking to the owner. And it's, trustworthy. Everything in the ad was, trust us, we're the best, and I started realizing that there was nobody watching out for anybody when it came to contractors, and you just call these guys out of the Yellow Pages. The guy with the biggest ad usually got more calls and different things like that. And I was just like, I don't think this is right. And so I had the idea back in 2005, really, that I wanted to try to separate the good guys from the bad guys in some way. But I didn't have any kind of experience or no management skills or anything like that. It was just a great idea. And then, shortly after I had a heart attack in 2011, and I was working for a company called Money Mailer that did these coupons. And I started talking to a guy out in Mansfield, Texas, a plumber, about getting in to that coupon thing that I was selling. And he said, I'm a kind of a smaller outfit. I really don't have enough money to pay for this by myself. But, I know a good electrician. I know a good roofer that I would trust to refer to people. And so my first idea was this company website called Mansfield Service Connection. And I was just going to do kind of a website for Mansfield and separate those good guys that, they all kind of knew each other, the good guys. They kind of seemed to run with each other. And so I started talking to them about doing this website. And I went in, before I even started, I went into my boss at Money Mailer. And I said, "Hey, man, I'm not going to use your time to try to make something work while I'm supposed to be out here selling for you guys. But I really feel like I'm supposed to do this." And this was in the wake of a heart attack I'd had just 6 months prior. So a lot of times I think I just have to kind of I'll give God credit for it because I don't have the experience or the stuff to do this. But when I felt it in my heart that it was time for me to go, I said I'm going to do this, and so left that job, had one paycheck coming to me, and no idea whether it was going to work or not. No website, but I started going out and talking to contractors, and I and built this little website, Mansfield Service Connection, and people liked it. And so I was like, how could I get them more? And how do I go bigger? And, after a few little letdowns of being a business owner, I figured, I'm gonna try to make this bigger, and started looking at names, and goodcontractors.com, the goodcontractorslist.com, they were all available on GoDaddy. And so I bought them, and I said, okay, we're going to start the Good Contractors List. I was going to sitting down. We didn't have a website. I was sitting down with a yellow legal pad, talking to contractors, saying, "Hey, I'm going to separate the good guys from the bad guys." And almost everybody was like, "If you can do that, I want to be on it." Yep. Yep. And so that's kind of how it started. And it just it took me 2 years to. I had kind of a phase one where I went out and found all the people around the Metroplex, so I'd have an even balanced number of contractors. They kind of came on at a real small price just to hold their spots. And then in 2014, I called them all back and said, hey, are you in? We're going into that next thing where you're going to have to be paying more, but we're going to get advertising. Yeah. And my shot, I was shooting for $50,000 worth of advertising. And, I don't even think I had made a $50,000 a year, in my whole life. Yeah. And in 1 month, whenever all the dust settled, we had just under $51,000. Wow. And I started running radio ads and TV ads, and here we are. It was 2011 when I started it.
Yeah.
It's a crazy ride, but we're here.
So I think the biggest thing that I have benefited, learned from the Good Contractors List is the reputation that we're good. Yeah. We're honorable, we're honest, and people expect that. Yeah. And even to the point where we had one situation where the customer came back to y'all and said we didn't do what we were supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And we did. But she had a misunderstanding that I installed a tankless water heater, and it was supposed to instantly be an instant water heater.
Gotcha.
We discussed this on a previous podcast. It's endless hot water, not instant hot water.
And she went to y'all and said we didn't do what we were supposed to do. And y'all called us and said, okay, well, so what happened here? Your customer's complaining. This is our complaint. I said, well, I never sold it as a instant hot water. I can get her a tankless that will be instant, but it'll be considerably more. That's not what she asked for. She asked for a tankless water heater, and we sold her a tankless water heater, and so y'all handled it for us as contractors and told her that no, this is what they did. We read over their invoice. We read over their what they sold you, and they sold you what they told you they would sell you, and you stood behind us as the contractor. Mm-hmm. And that was when I said, okay, I want to be a bigger part of this.
Yeah, yeah.
They backed me up as well. And so any contractor on your list, you have their back as well as the customer's back. And I think that's a big thing.
I like to say that we're the voice of truth.
Yeah.
Because usually there's not anybody in between you and a homeowner. There's just not. And then they'll call one of their plumber friends over and go, look what they did. And that guy's he's seeing dollar signs and going, oh yeah, they really messed that sucker up. Boy, they should have done all this, and I can handle that for you. And so when something like that happens, homeowners just freak out, and the horror stories. There's just so many horror stories out there about how contractors take advantage of you, but homeowners take advantage of contractors too.
I know. I have been down on many a road where I've spent money on just to keep from getting a bad name. And I mean, the Google, is such a, I don't know. I say a lot of times we bow down to Google. This whole industry does. All the whole contracting industry, we have to bow down to Google because Google is such an influence on everybody out there.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a good Google name, which we strive to keep, we have a 4.9 on Google. We strive to keep it. You have to sometimes please customer that you feel like as an owner, you did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
But we have to come to agreement. And I love the fact that people that come through the Good Contractors List, I have you to go back in your company to go back and say, okay, I didn't do it wrong.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and we try to prove that. We try to show that in every situation. But there's been times, that we've gone out and the contractor trusted his lead guy that's out there that he took care of something. And then when the homeowner says, no, they didn't, we've actually gone out to the homes. Like it's not just us, saying, oh, our contractor did it right. We actually do investigate everything. Like with yours, it was a simple thing. What's on your contract? What did you agree for them to install? Well, that's what you got, and that's a simple thing. And whenever a person goes, oh, okay, well, I guess I understand now. But there's some gray areas where, somebody doesn't like the way the wallpaper was put up or whatever, whatever the case there is there, and we have to go in and actually look at that. And I would usually bring in the owner with me, and he goes, well, my guys said that they took care of it. Well, we walk in and I'll go, is this the quality that y'all put out? And he'll look at it and go, no. It is not, and I'm sorry. I just believe my guy, And so when a third party gets involved, usually through email and that's usually what it does is we just kind of go back and forth with the homeowner and the contractor, make sure we're in the middle so that they can work through it. Because what will happen a lot of times is because of mistrust, homeowners will be like, well, this guy is not doing what he's supposed to do. Get out of my house. You're not allowed back here, and then they try to do a lawsuit when that contractor would have fixed it. There would have been no problems with it, but they had lost trust.
Yeah.
So with us standing in the middle, so many times, I would say 99% of the time, it is just fear on both sides. The contractor's afraid I'm not going to get paid. And then the homeowner's afraid this guy's ripping me off. And I'm going to be the laughing stock of the neighborhood or whatever.
Yeah.
When you get someone in the middle explaining things, it just kind of settles. The contractor gets done, the homeowner's happy, and both sides leave happy. And in most cases, when I've had to go out to a home and talk to them and show them what happened and what went wrong and that everybody, their feelings are valid, that, you have a right to feel scared. You have a right to be angry.
Yeah.
And so do you, and so when they talk and they talk through it and they're like, oh yeah, we can make this work. I watched multiple families hugging each other, the contractor and the homeowner hugging each other, saying, hey man, I'm sorry we got sideways. Let's get this done and let's get it done right. And so it's very emotional.
And I think that's a big issue, big deal. I think that's the difference between y'all and finding somebody on Google.
Yeah, well, there's no protection.
No, well, you're not going to call Google and say, hey, your contractor sucked that you sent to my house, that it was on your list. I searched on Google and their name popped up and they sucked and now I want my money back. Google ain't going to do nothing for you.
No, they can't.
First, you got to get a hold of somebody there. So what's the big difference between your list and the other list out there? Angie's list and,
What's the other one?
Let's see.
Home Advisor.
Home Advisor.
Yeah, Home Advisor's the big one. They used to be Service Magic.
Yeah.
And they're a lead generation service.
Oh, yeah, we've done it.
That's what
Spend a bunch of money on them.
they'll pay for leads. They it's an aggregate, which means that multiple people, multiple companies who capture leads that are out there, they buy those leads. They have some in-house people, but they purchase those leads. Let's just say it's $175 for that lead, and then they'll sell that for $75 to 5 people.
Yeah.
And so they make their money on it. It's no big deal. It's one lead. So they're a lead gen company. What we've done is we've created a place where we separate the good guys from the bad guys. And so what we want people to be able to do, it's not going to cost, it costs them nothing. They're not going to have a ton of people calling them. They're going to go to the website, and every single person on that website is backed by a $10,000 guarantee in our free mediation services. So if you hired a contractor, it doesn't matter. I mean, if you find out after, that they're a good contractor, we've had that happen where the person presented it to them. They weren't registered or anything. They just found out about it, and they had an issue, and they called. And we got involved. We always get involved. We want to make sure our contractors are doing what they're supposed to. It doesn't do us well to have a bad contractor on our list. So we take everything super seriously. Our staff, Jessica and Nydia, they are both, they'll call back homeowners. We call back every homeowner that calls through our website. So we're following up, and we're looking to see how our contractors are being with homeowners.
Yeah.
We've kicked people off of our list for being talking down to people. They had to consistently talk down to people when they explained things, and we started seeing a pattern of complaint. And we got with the guy and said, "I'm sorry, this is just not going to work for us." So that's the difference. Is we'll turn away money if it doesn't look like it's going to be good for the homeowner. Yeah, it's just not worth it.
So what do you think of the current state of the contracting field? I mean, it's from what me and Scott have experienced, it's becoming a younger generation. Don't you agree, Scott?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of people are retiring and leaving the field that have been doing it for...
But what I find encouraging is we are hiring younger and younger guys.
Yes.
I mean, I've got a group full of apprentices that are under 25 years old.
Yeah, and 10 years ago, I swear I was the only 20 person in their 20s doing plumbing. They just weren't around. And so, I mean, it's really good. It's kind of pushing back towards learning a trade again.
Well, it leads to hope that there's a hope in this field still.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think 10 years ago, you sat 8 years ago with me and continuing ed, and that's all they preached.
Yeah.
Y'all getting old. You're 51 years old, master, 53-year-old master age, and this generation's dying, and you're only going to get paid more. And that's what they preached for years. Still preach. I mean, I still listen to people on podcasts preaching that.
Yeah.
I don't agree.
Well, what do you mean you don't agree?
I think that we're getting a generation of young people coming back in this field.
Yeah, for sure. Because for several years there, it was we did 20,000 apprentice license this year, and we had 5,000 renew, 4,000 renew. I mean, just people were trying it for a year and then bailing. Now it seems like people are starting to stick with it. These younger guys are starting to stick with it. Mm-hmm. And it's a nice change. It's a real good change that people are actually coming back around.
Do you think it has anything to do with the fact that AI is going to replace a lot of technical?
I imagine so, but I also feel like a lot of people realized college doesn't always pay out like they said it.
I know that's a big thing. I mean,
I was in the generation, my parents were, you got to go to college. You got to go to college. I'm like, college just isn't for me. I'm sorry.
There's always a shortage of good, hardworking, laborers. Yeah. And to get into a field like plumbing, that's it's something there's always going to be somebody who needs plumbing.
Well, all trades. It's not just plumbing. Yeah. I mean, it's all trades. We can't run this world without electricians, plumbers, HVAC, carpenters.
Yeah.
I mean, everything.
Got to have welders. A place to go. Got to have a place to work. Got to have a place to sleep. I mean,
my son that's in high school, junior in high school right now, he doesn't want to do anything with plumbing. Care less about plumbing, but he does want to weld.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about that. I mean, I didn't do carpentry like my old man did.
Yeah.
When I grew up doing remodeling.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Got to 22, 23 years old and said, this ain't for me.
See, my dad was a mechanic, and I was like, this hurts my hands too much. Yeah. I'm going to go grab a shovel and start tearing up water lines.
I see the checks y'all pay to plumbers. And they're a lot more than the checks you bring home, Dad.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go do that. And so that's
Exactly.
part of why I did the plumbing. I was like, those guys make more money.
Yeah.
And it looks pretty interesting. And so that's why I did plumbing. And I don't blame him. His brother-in-law is a welder, and he's interested in that.
Yeah.
So it's a lot quicker past the money than
It's quicker than plumbing, I'll be honest with
getting a
you.
degree and then going trying to find a job.
Oh, definitely that.
You know,
Yeah.
that's the competition and all the office jobs are just probably amazing.
Yeah, now my youngest, she's dead set on going to Alabama and being a lawyer. I'm like, that's good. You need to be a litigation lawyer. I had to hire one of them last year, and, and I wrote him a big old check. So over something stupid. Wasn't even nothing I did. It was a text message that we sent out, and guy said he was on the Digging Out call list and threatened to sue me, and that was interesting.
Oh, wow.
And so I told her, I said, well, if you're going to be a lawyer, you want to be a litigation lawyer. Those guys make a lot of money just to make a phone call.
Any kind of lawyer makes money. There's just, I was thinking I had a car accident, and at the end I got this little bitty settlement,
Yeah.
and they had taken 33% of the big, thing, and I'm like,
Y'all ain't need that. Y'all fill out a few forms, made a few phone calls, and it cost me 70% of what I got. And so it was interesting. Tell me what the plan is for the Good Contractors List. Where is it headed?
well, I'm pretty excited. We just brought on a CEO out of California that has a lot of experience with all those guys that we were talking about. Angie's List, Home Advisor. He understands how all that works, and he understood what we were trying to do different here. So with him in place and with the other things that we're doing, we're hoping to expand it across the nation. Hopefully, probably Texas first, but we're looking at just how important this is to people. And we just met with some homeowners and did some videos of them. We have homeowners that have been using us for over a decade, some of them, that says, I won't get a contractor who's not guaranteed, who's not on this list. We met one lady that was, she had lost her handyman in 2018, and it was just the guy that she used for everything, and he passed away. And she goes, I was just scared. I didn't know who to trust. And then I heard your commercial and did that. It got a hold of you guys, and I've had good experiences with everybody. They're all so nice. They're clean. It's like, these are good people. And so I want to do that. I want to make a difference in this world. Construction is one area that's just a kind of a dark place. And so we have some ideas that, there's a lot of really good people out there. There's a lot of really good contractors out there, probably more than bad ones. But the bad ones make it bad for everybody, And so if I can find a way to separate that to where homeowners don't get taken advantage of and good contractors can grow their businesses, then I would have made my mark. And that's what I really want to do. I want to be able to say that I made a difference. We're also going to be looking at another dark industry, home warranty.
Oh,
Yeah. Yep. We're about to get start the Good Contractors home warranty, where and it'll be more of, we'll have the insurance product, but we'll also have a cushion in between, so that if there's something that is gray that they will not cover, usually a home warranty company, they're trying to find ways not to cover.
and that's the reason Larry Stinson Plumbing don't do home warranty.
Yep, exactly. So if things could get covered like they said they're going to get covered, and if there's a gray area, then we can, as a company, go, you know what, the insurance product won't pay for this, but we will.
Okay.
And so if we can be a bright spot in that dark area, I think that we could make a difference in so many lives. I mean, it seems so like home services might be something lower on the totem pole, but man, you don't want to talk about some people that get hurt, who've lost things because of home service problems.
Yeah, well,
It's just
came
one
behind.
area, but
we came behind on home warranty issues.
Good time.
And they're like, do you work with this home warranty company? No, ma'am, we do not. You can get bought out, and I will fill out every piece of paperwork you need to help get you bought out on that. and you won't get enough to pay for this project, but you'll get something back. But I will not work with that company.
Yeah.
Because I worked for a company that did that. And they sent a lot of plumbers. It was a big company. We had a lot of plumbers. And the practices you had to do in the home warranty field, I was not comfortable with.
Yeah.
Because you had to lie one way or the other. And I don't like lying to customers. I don't like telling customers. So you either got to lie to the customer or you got to lie to the home warranty company in order to get and the way most companies want it done is they want you to lie to the customer so that you can charge more to the customer, because the home warranty companies don't pay you nothing. That's the biggest problem. They don't pay the service companies enough to pay for the services that they do.
Yeah.
On what most companies can make on any other call. It's just filler stuff. You're just doing it to keep the plumbers busy. The company's not making any money off of it if they do it the legit way. Or you can go back to the customer and tell them, well, this ain't covered. They said that you'll owe this amount, so you got to write me a check for this amount, and then it's going to cost you this amount because they only cover up to this amount. And the customer ends up generally paying more than they would if they called a plumber out and fixed it without going through the home warranty company.
Yeah.
And so that's my problem with home warranties.
Yeah. It's pretty dark.
No, I mean, that'd be really beneficial to people if you get that going.
If you figure out that whole loophole without, and I've wondered about it for years. I'm like, there's got to be a better way. I can get insurance on my car, I can get insurance on my house, and for the roof and stuff. But all this home warranty stuff is nothing but a big scam. I don't know why anybody can't figure out how to do this correctly, where more companies will want to.
And a lot of people, a lot of the contractors don't want to be a part of a home warranty company because I've heard this word, bottom feeders, are the ones that they have to use contractors that will lie, cheat, steal, or whatever, and I'm like, well, and I know that not everybody who works for, it's not fair to say that there's not good contractors out there that work on home warranty issues, but their hands are tied, and they have to do what the home warranty says yes or no to. And there's probably more people out there that are just really angry that have home warranties that they're like, I don't even know why I spent this money. But it's kind of a requirement now to have a home warranty when you buy a house. So,
well, yeah, I mean, everybody does it. I mean, you get one. I mean, whether you sell a new home or a used home, you generally get a home warranty. And that's where the issue runs into is, Mrs. Williams buys her a new home or used home, and the seller sold them, it provided a 1 year home warranty. That first year is, I mean, what I don't understand is it seems to be plumbing field's the worst. The air conditioning field seems to be the best. They cover more stuff in the air conditioning field. You'll end up with a brand new AC unit for very little out of pocket.
Yeah.
But if your sewer line is broken in the front yard, that was a pre-existing condition before you bought the house.
Yeah, we had the guy that we're bringing on to do this. He's worked for several of them, and there was some pool equipment that needed to be fixed, and he was talking about, okay, yeah, everything that needs to be done is here. Yes, we need to be able to do this. And whenever he submitted it, the person came back and go, well, is there plumbing that runs from that? It's pool equipment.
Yeah.
Does it go underground? Well, we don't cover underground. And they made up some stupid thing to come back to the homeowner and say, I'm sorry, but this isn't covered. And he's like, I can't do this anymore.
Well, it seems to be the plumbing side that's the worst. I have heard more and more stories of the HVAC and electrical and stuff like garage door going out, appliances going out. Yeah. I've heard stories of people their range went out and they got a brand new range and it cost them $10 or $60.
Yeah. But as soon as we get involved,
it's thousands of dollars. They don't cover it.
Yeah.
Like, why don't you covered that brand new $15,000 AC unit?
Yeah.
Why don't you cover the slab leak that happened? And we're only charging $4,000 or $5,000 to fix.
Yeah. It is. Like the pros
yeah.
are weird.
There's a lot of there's a lot of loopholes, and and if they have anything else that they fix, there's an aggregate number that you can't go above. So you already wasted all your money on this on one job. Yeah. So now your other stuff breaks down. So we're looking at having higher aggregates, higher payouts, and if we do it right, we'll stand out and we'll make it. We might not get as rich as the guys that are cheating everybody.
No, but I don't think that's what you're admitting.
That's not what it's for.
No, and I never thought that's what the Good Contractors List was for. I mean, I thought that's what some of the other lists are for.
Yeah.
But especially the Indian list. But I don't know. It's always more comforting. So what can a homeowner do to make sure a project goes? What's the best advice you can give the homeowner to make sure a project is going the best it can?
Well, I mean, my first advice is use someone on the Good Contractors List because we're there. I mean, we've already done all the background checks. Matter of fact, we spend a lot of money on programs to know where these guys came from, not know who the owner is, the company, who his friends are, what companies he's worked for in the past, and so we can get a full history on our contractors and know that these guys have a good reputation. They're good people and they have a good reputation. We've done all that for them, so they don't have to think. We don't put reviews on there because reviews can be manipulated. You can hire a company to literally it's called a reputation management company that will help you look like you're great when you're not good at all. And so what we want to be able to do is provide a safe place for homeowners to come to find contractors. They don't have to think about it. If I need a plumber, I can use any one of these guys. They're backed by a $10,000 guarantee. So go to the Good Contractors List. That's my first advice. Now, if you don't have access to the Good Contractors List, if you're watching this podcast and it's in Austin and we're not there yet, you want to really do some investigation on the name of the company. Find out who the owner is. You can probably go to the BBB, and even though they may not be a member, you can usually find out kind of who the owner is. Do research on the owner, do your own research to find out where's this guy coming from. Start reading the reviews. If you see a pattern I kind of tell everybody, I don't even look at the good reviews. I like to go straight to the bad reviews and see if there's a pattern, right? And if there seems to be a pattern, if it happened in 2016 and then you haven't seen anything since, then they fixed it. That might be a good guy to go for. But if you see kind of a pattern and all these great reviews and then 2 more years later it's the same bad review that they got years ago, then they're probably padding things, And so it's just scary out there. So, make sure that you don't just hire the first guy. When it comes to storms and, we're on the storm season right now.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, these roofers are out there with their tarps from out of town, or they just started their business. They know a couple of guys that put on shingles and they're starting their own business. And as soon as a hailstorm hits, they're running and knocking on the door saying, "Can I put some tarps over your holes so that it doesn't leak and ruin the rest of your house?" And they end up getting, because they're afraid, they just jump and go, "Oh yeah, can you do that?" And then they feel obligated, to go with this guy. But if you can, if for a homeowner, and you kind of talked about this earlier, we were talking about how maybe we could get a list of of different types of contractors that we could hand out to homeowners. As contractors, this is my area, here's all the other contractors you might go to. Put together a list of guys that you can trust already. Like get all that stuff in place to where if my air conditioning breaks down, okay, I already have my AC guy. I've already done all the research on this. As a homeowner, being prepared and not having to just act, off the cuff, from some emergency.
Scramble last minute.
Scramble last minute, and you're Googling something, and the guy that's paying the most is going to charge you the most. More than likely, he's going to upsell you. He's going to, if you think about it, just put any thought into this. Finding a good guy and having that set up, to where you're not having to think about it when something happens is the best advice I could give a homeowner. Yeah.
So,
All right. Well, we enjoy being a part of the Good Contractors List.
Oh yeah.
well, I'm glad we chased you down.
Yep. I'm glad I'm here. It's been a big part of our business. We've helped a lot of y'all's clients along the way, which became our clients, and we've had a repeat. I mean, they call us back after, even after we finish first project, they often call us back and say, our software keeps up with where they came from, and we know, and so we've enjoyed that greatly.
No,
All right. You got a story for us today, Scott?
Oh,
No story today.
I know, I'm terrible.
You had all week to you got 2 weeks to prepare. We've been off 2 weeks.
I felt like I had something last week too, and I can't remember what it was.
All right, Will, you got something for us?
No, not really. I mean, I'm looking at the
Well, you
Good
ain't gonna-
Contractor webpage, and I see audio visual home, but that's for like mounting and installing, right? Yeah. I mean, I figured that. I figured no homeowners would need
Home
audio.
automation stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, theaters and stuff like that.
Yeah. See, we don't do that. We do video production. So yeah, but that was just
not many
interesting. I
homeowners.
saw that. So.
All right. We've enjoyed you being here, Mr. Hill.
Thank you so much for having me.
And we enjoyed y'all being here with us on the show today. We are proud to be a part of the Good Contractors List and plan to be for many years to come. And don't forget to subscribe. Ring the bell. Ring the bell. Let us know you're there. Get some notifications. I need a comment. Still don't got enough comments. I need more comments.
Yeah.
I mean, tell me I'm ugly or something. I
See a
mean,
lot of charged things on here. I'm
tell
surprised we're not
me I
getting
need to
yelled
get better looking co-host, something. I mean,
at. I am gorgeous. I'll have you know.
sorry. All right. Maybe Will's the one that's ugly. I don't know.
Right, for a reason, right?
We'll see if I get more camera time. Let's see.
Okay, there you go. All right. We appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in to Unclogged Conversations, powered by Larry Stinson Plumbing. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, and like. Got it. Y'all have a good day. Thank you very much.
Thank y'all.
Restoration companies love to use lingos that don't get you or help get you covered. I'm sure those insurance guys fringe at.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Well, I think with restoration companies, obviously they make a living off of insurance, right? So they view insurance a little differently than maybe people on the advisor side might advise their actual business clients and how to go about things. So most restoration companies are, file claims first, ask questions later.